So, you've decided you want to get into voiceover. First of all, welcome, you gorgeous bastard. Secondly, whether you've decided you want to do this eventually as a career full-time or whether you just want to make some side money and get good at it, you're going to need gear. But not just any gear, right? Nobody wants to, for example, overspend on a mic that makes you sound like you recorded in a bathroom off an interstate somewhere outside of Sheboygan. Sheboygan. And lucky for you, your old friend Paulie's here to guide you through the maze of audio equipment and get you set up for success. Now, again, the premise here is that you want this to be something more than a hobby. You want to start down the road to either being a part-time voice actor, or maybe you think eventually you may want to do this full-time as a career, which also means you're getting training, you're starting to figure out a recording space. But if you just need this to be, or want this to be, a hobby, God bless you. Congratulations. This is probably not the video for you. Get a Blue Yeti and have fun. Now, for context, what I'm not going to do in this video is painstakingly put every link to every piece of gear in the show notes and description. I will list the gear, but I will leave it to you to find because I'm not here to sell you gear. All right, we good? We got all the ground rules? Let's do it. All right, let's get it out of the way. First things first, the microphone, your bread and butter, arguably the most important piece of equipment in your stack. Now, don't go nuts. For beginners, you want a balance, right? Between quality, sure, but also affordability. Now, I mentioned the Blue Yeti, and yeah, a USB mic up until this point for you may have been fine, but if you're serious or what I call VO curious, you think you might want to start making money doing this, so you're committing to training and figuring out your recording space, and oh yeah, you're going to need a decent microphone. XLR mics are the way to go. Why? Because the sound quality and the upgrade potential in the XLR mic category blows USB mics out of the water, and it's not close. I mentioned affordability. If you're on a budget, and my God, who isn't, look no further than the AT2020 by Audio-Technica. If there's a gold standard for entry-level mics, this mic is probably it. And if it's not, it's the Rode NT1A. Both are fantastic mics. They'll make you sound good, they're reliable, and they're durable, and they won't make you break down and cry when you're about to pay for them. Now, if you're going to use an XLR mic, you can't plug that directly into your computer. No, you need what's called an audio interface. Connect the mic to the interface to your computer, and Bob's your uncle. And the best entry-level interface that I know of is the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. I'll say it again, the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. It's durable, it's reliable, it's a good basic interface, it has a good sound, you plug your mic into it, you plug it into your computer, and off you go. Now, let's say you're on an ultra tight budget like I was when I first started. I'll recommend the Behringer UM2. That was my first audio interface way back when, and it's a rock bottom price, but it gets the job done. Not as robust as the Scarlett, but it'll get you started. Next up, the recording space. Now, I mentioned this before. You're going to have to start figuring this out because if you get a quality microphone, a good mic is like a good mirror. It's only going to reflect back what you put into it. So if you're recording at the kitchen table with the refrigerator hum and the AC and everything else, you're going to sound like garbage. Creating a quiet, sound-treated space is absolutely crucial. Most beginners start with a closet, kids. Why? Because it works. The hanging clothes in the closet, and even if you have shelves and shelves of folded clothes, that can act as a sound absorption unit. Just make sure that closet isn't right next to your furnace or your AC or has a window that faces the street. Toss in some foam panels. Hell, you can even use mattress toppers. This was years and years ago. I bought a 10-pack of moving blankets on Amazon for I want to say about $70. They're still hanging in my studio today. Just because it's a cheap solution doesn't mean it's not a good solution. Conversely, just because it's an expensive solution doesn't always mean it's a great solution. All right, so you're saying, okay, Paul, I don't have a closet in my place that's going to work. What the hell do I do? Next best option is a portable booth. There are companies that sell portable booths like the Tri Booth, or you can head to Home Depot or Lowe's, get yourself some PVC pipe with a little little ingenuity, you can build a PVC pipe frame, drape some moving blankets over it, and now you've got a space that will at least tamp down the reflections from inside the recording space. Now, if you got a little more means and a space that'll work, maybe you want to invest in some decent, more pro-level sound absorbing and sound treating gear. There are companies like Auralex and GIK Acoustics. They have great catalogs online. I would consult with a professional audio engineer to have them review your space, even if it's by video. But you can get good foam panels, good clouds for your ceiling in your booth. A cloud is just a sound absorbing panel that goes about a foot below your ceiling. And remember too that, your goal is not to build a completely soundproof room. Soundproof means there are no sounds getting in from the outside. That's very tough to do, and it's very expensive. Your best goal right now is to make sure that the space is treated such that the reflections are gone, meaning there's no slapback, there's no echo. It doesn't sound like you're recording in a reverb chamber. All right, next up. Headphones. I've had these deals, and if you look closely, you can see there's gaff tape holding these things together. But these are my Sony MDR V700s. I've had these for, 30 years. And even 30 years ago, I think I paid $250 for them. So they're pro level. They're not cheap. That's not what I recommend for beginners. A good alternative is the Audio-Technica ATH M50X headphones. They're comfortable for most people. And by the way, especially if you're, let's say, doing audiobooks or long-form content, do not undersell comfort. Also, the Sennheiser HD280 Pros, they both have solid, what we'll call flat sound. The problem with consumer headphones is that oftentimes they're built to sweeten the sound. They're built for music consumption, and they'll pump up the bass. They'll pump up the super high end. You want as flat and accurate a sound out of your headphones for doing voiceover as you can possibly get. That means the sound is not colored by the phones themselves at all. Both those options I named are under $200, and I don't think you can go wrong either way. And one more note about headphones. Two main categories: open back versus closed back. Closed back are like my Sonys, right? They're closed to the back. There's no holes, no ventilation. They go over the ear entirely, and they seal out the sound from the outside. The reason you want that is when you're working close to your mic, you don't want your headphone sound to bleed into the microphone. All right. Software. Let's talk about DAWs for a minute. Digital audio workstations. I'll preface this by saying just about all of them do the same thing. They allow you to record and edit and output a professional format, whether it's WAV or MP3 audio recording. It doesn't matter as much which DAW you choose. It matters that you choose one that is intuitive for you, that is easy to use for you, and you master it. Now, some people will disagree with me on this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think Audacity is a fantastic choice for most people starting out. It's free. Hello, that's in your price range. And despite what some people will tell you, it's a very powerful digital audio workstation. And for most people, it seems relatively intuitive. So I think Audacity is a good starter choice. If you want to move up, there's Adobe Audition, which is what I use because I've been using it since it was Cool Edit Pro decades ago, and it's just something I'm comfortable with. But there's also Reaper and many, many more. And I'd be remiss if I didn't discuss plugins. Plugins are small ancillary programs, if you will, that can clean up and enhance your audio recordings. The one I recommend, and still, by the way, used to this day, is Isotope RX Elements Package. Now, I use the full-blown program, but the Elements package is a starter pack, and it'll help you remove excessive background noise, clicks, other little audio gremlins that sneak in. It's an investment, sure, but it's one that you won't regret because it will save you a ton of time and effort. One word about plugins: do not overdo them. And in the beginning, you don't even know what overdoing it means. So use them lightly, if at all, and get a sanity check from another voice actor, ideally an audio engineer. All right, let's talk about what we're going to call the extras, for lack of a better term. Those little other things that you can use that do make a 1% or more difference and will add up. Pop filters. Lots of controversy over this. Some people say if you're using proper technique, you don't need a pop filter. I believe that that's largely true, but if you're just starting out, your technique is probably not great. There's no shame in using a pop filter. What's a pop filter? It stops what we call plosives, anything that's aspirated into the mic, specifically P's, popping P's, and B's. You're blowing air out of your mouth when you make these sounds. You're building up pressure and then releasing it, and it can make a bassy sort of pop in the recording. Here's great news about pop filters. They're dirt cheap. 10, 20 bucks, get one that works with your mic. Research that a little bit, and you're off to the races. Next up, a mic stand. Now, there are so many different studio configurations, it's impossible to recommend one or even a handful of mic stands that are going to work for you. This is not a huge overthinking choice that you've got to wring your hands over. Figure out what your setup is, where your mic's going to be, where you're going to stand. Get a mic stand that fits. You don't want to be holding your mic with your hand. Cables. Can't stress this one enough because it's bitten me in the ass before. Get good quality XLR mic cables. A decent cable is going to last longer. It's going to shield against electronic noise in your booth. And two of the most reliable are, and I still to this day, I've got all my cables through this company. I still don't know how to pronounce them. I'm going to say Mogami. That's probably not it. And Hosa are both reliable cable brands. All right, we talked about some of the acoustic treatments you can use, whether you're in a closet or some other sort of space. The idea, and I just want to circle back on this for a minute, is not to treat every single square inch of your space. It's to treat the areas where the sound reflects, typically in front of you, typically behind you, and yes, to the sides, but not quite as important. Also, don't forget your floor. Put a good sound-absorbing rug down, and your ceiling. And finally, surge protectors and cable management. You get one power spike and it can fry out your entire setup. Make sure, if you do nothing else, protect your investments with a surge protector. And while you're at it, and this is, maybe this is the hole in my game. I'm okay about cable management, but I'll tell you this, I was much better when my son was tiny, and I'm better again because I now have a dog. Now, Gus isn't a chore, but you still want to keep your cables where small kids, pets, cats, is that a separate category of pet? Where all the little things in your house can't get to them. I just discovered on Amazon a few days ago, there are entire cable management systems and packages that you can buy. Go research that. Go get yourself a good supply of cable management stuff. All right, so now you're about ready to get off the ground. You've got your mic, you've got your audio interface, you've got your space treated, you've got your cables managed and your power managed, and you've MacGyvered all this stuff together, so what do you do now? Well, you'd be kind of an idiot if you didn't make some test recordings. And these are going to be the first of test recordings you're going to make for the rest of your life because your studio is always a work in progress. Record, see how you sound, adjust your mic, maybe adjust your acoustic treatment. Figure out where the sweet spot on the gain is on your audio interface, how much volume you're giving your recordings. The goal here is good, clean, distortion-free sound. So you say, Paul, I'm pretty good. I've been at this for a little bit, and I might be ready to upgrade. I got you. So let's say you've been rocking that NT1A or the AT2020 and you're ready to move up. I'd recommend either the Sennheiser MKH416, which is what I have in my booth. That's a shotgun mic, and it is the gold standard for shotgun mics for things like short form, promo, commercial. It's got a nice bright high end, and it tends to cut through the mixes in those environments. The great thing about a shotgun mic is it also mitigates less than ideal recording conditions. If you maybe have not the lowest noise floor, or you have some other considerations where your room could be tightened up, or for whatever reason you can't get there, I might recommend a shotgun mic, and there's none better than the 416. Now, if you've really got your space nailed down, and especially if you do a variety of all kinds of genres, or you do regular long-form content, the Neumann TLM-103 is highly recommended. The thing you have to know about this mic, unlike a shotgun, it's extremely sensitive. So you've got to have a good buttoned-up space and a very low noise floor. Interface. When you're ready to upgrade that, I'm going to recommend the Apollo Twin. We talked about plugins before. The Apollo Twin has the ability to load plugins directly into your audio interface so that they take a lot of the heavy lifting off of your computer, and you can process in real time. And finally, acoustic treatment. When you're ready to upgrade that, you may want to move from moving blankets and mattress toppers to actual pro-level, good-sounding panels like from Auralex or GIK Acoustics. All right, the whole point of this video is to drive home the fact that your studio, you can start small, it can evolve over time, and it will grow with you over time. You don't have to make all the upgrades at once, nor should you, but you can get started with the right gear and with a little creativity, and you can get a setup that not only works well, but works with your budget too. This is not a race to have the most expensive gear, guys. It's about knowing how to use what you have. And in the end, it's about you developing both as a voice actor and as an audio technician. All right, if you got value from this video, especially if you're new to the channel, give us a like, a subscribe, and you can go back through the library of videos we have and find stuff that I think will help you. Hit that notification bell so that you'll know when we publish a new video every week. And most importantly, if you have a comment or a question, leave it either in the YouTube comments and questions section or on the blog at vopro.pro, where you can also get my Move, Touch, Inspire newsletter that comes out every week for voice actors. It's absolutely free. Each message includes an idea to move you, a thought to touch you, and a quote to inspire you. Tons of free resources, tons of valuable information, including info on the VO Freedom Master Plan, where we teach voice actors to market directly to prospects to generate more leads, more audition opportunities, more opportunities for recurring work. Don't forget to leave a comment, and thanks so much. The more we talk and exchange information and have civil debate, the better, stronger industry we have for everybody. Thanks so much, and we'll see you back soon.